Aloha everybody, Tracie here. How's it? How you doing? Welcome to my new series called All Things Hawaii. I wanted to entitle it something new and start fresh. Apologies for not putting out a video earlier this month. The video comes out on the second Sunday of every month, but this month what I was doing was I was working on a book that I was writing during the pandemic, and I finally finished it. So yay! It's in the finalizing stages, and then it's going to be published. So I'm hoping that it'll be out sometime in August. So I'll keep you posted. I'll post updates, and if you follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, I'll also update you there. If you have questions, email me. I wanted to bring a short commercial to you about my book that I was talking about. It's called Life and Race Through the Eyes of a Brownish Local Girl, Tita E. And this is the mock-up. It's not exactly how the book cover will look like, but probably similar. So shout out to Laurie Lay for the pictures and John D for the editing. When I started writing, I wrote it as an autobiography, and I heard the kupuna voices, which I talk about in the book, telling me to write a book. And little did I know that this autobiography would be about race. There's so many issues that I talk about in my book about life and race, dealing with systemic or institutional racism, and how my book goes into detail on that here in the islands and from my perspective. On that note, I especially want to speak the names of the people that have brought this to the forefront here in 2020. George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, Rayshard Brooks. Yeah, in my book I talk about those issues here in Hawaii. Colin Elderts. I'm glad that those things are coming to the forefront. All right, let's get to the topic. You don't look Hawaiian. You don't look Hawaiian. These are some of the comments that I've gotten in the past. You don't look Hawaiian. Another one, are you Asian? And then this person responds and says, I believe she's Hawaiian, so yes. Somebody else, this was cute, I wanted to throw that in. It says, I knew when I looked at her she's Filipino. Then I checked her bio, and yes, she is. That was cute. I think the comments are good for me to see because it gives me awareness of the people that are watching my different bikyo, and that's a good place for dialogue. I feel like the comments at the bottom are a safe place for you to respond. One of the things that I don't tolerate is if people are hateful or mean-spirited. I'll take those comments off. And if you see those comments, email me and let me know, because I don't always get to moderate them quickly. I also talk about that in my book. So I'm not trying to promo my book, but yes, trying to promo my book. I talk about that in my introduction. So let me read from the section. And in my book I say, probably the most common racial stereotypes I hear are, you don't look Hawaiian, or you look Asian. And I find that when someone says that or messages that to me, I sometimes get irritated. What do their words mean? And what are they trying to say? I understand it because I think the same way sometimes. What they mean, or what I think they mean, is that I don't look like the stereotypical Hawaiian person. Brown skin, big brown eyes, and dark, coarse, wavy hair. You've seen the pictures, right? The Hawaiian lady dancing with the coconut bra and the fake plastic hula skirt. By the way, that's disgusting to me. It reminds me of the old reruns of Gilligan's Island that I used to watch, with their demeaning portrayal of bumbling, stupid, and naive native people. My skin is brown, but my eyes are almond-shaped, like a cat. My hair is dark, straight, and my face is round. I look like a light caramel-colored Asian lady, unless I go in the sun. I want to talk about that. I want to address that. And by the way, Gilligan's Island, I talked about that in one of my classes.
Skipper, help me! Please, little buddy, just stand steady and you won't get hurt. No, I'm not gonna get hurt. I'm gonna get killed. Gilligan, don't move around too much. Gilligan, please now. These natives are wonderful with these knives. They hardly ever miss. Hardly ever.
And one of my students said, I think that's disgusting and that's racist. And another person said, you know, I think they're trying to be funny. And all things being equal, I'm not justifying what they did in the 60s, but that was the mindset back then. Like, that type of thinking wasn't considered racist. That was the mindset of that time period or that generation. And the prevailing thoughts of Native peoples or peoples of color was that. You know, I'm not trying to dog Gilligan or Gilligan's Island. I'm just trying to bring to light the thought and the mindset in that time. Let me ask you this question. Does a person who's Hawaiian look like this? How about like this? How about this? How about this? The answer is all of the above. And they also look like this. They also look like this, me. What's the picture that you see in your mind when someone says Hawaiian people? Po'e Hawaii. All right, how about Japanese people? Po'e Kapuni. Black people? Po'e Pa'ele or Ele. Caucasian people? Po'e Haole. I talk about this in my book too. To me, awareness is the key. You know, when somebody says, you don't look like, or you don't look, fill in the blanks, right? So I know it can be painful for some people. You know, it was a struggle for me growing up. I'm going to be honest about that. It was a real struggle, you know, having to kind of prove my identity, who I was. First of all, figure out my identity and prove my identity. But, you know, post your responses below and share the video. Ask your friends. It's a good place for dialogue, conversation. I'm not here to give you any answers. I'm just here to say, be aware. That's something that I think is very necessary in this time and in this place, in this 21st century. Yeah, I hope that made you more aware of those stereotypes that come to mind. I go into more details in my book that's coming out sometime in August. You can subscribe if you want to get updates. And until next time, mahalo for joining me today. Aloha. Ahui ho.